Hello there and welcome back to my channel. I'm Nikki Wybrow and today I've got hip mobility routine because if you're over the age of 40 or over the age of 50, hips get really tight and I'm sure you're starting to get problems through lower back. So I'm just going to show you a nice simple at-home routine that you can do. Maybe implement this, add this to the workouts that you already do. Shall we go? Coming down onto our mat, please do make sure that you're warmed up before you go into this routine. Just check that the exercises are suitable for you. We're going to start off on all fours and all we're going to do is go into a cat-cow here just to loosen, but we're going to start to go into some deep hip mobility moments. So you just see what feels comfortable for you, what you feel that you can do. And then from here, opening the knees and keeping yourself upright. We're just going to roll a little from side to side. But as you do, try and just tilt the hips slightly forward so you get some movement. You can feel that movement on your inner thighs. Again, if you find any of these stretches, this mobility, a little tricky, grab yourself a cushion. It really does help to prop that up underneath your knees or underneath your bottom so you've got a little bit more height. And then from here, we're going to extend out the right leg, holding here, and then just cross it over the left. Try and keep your hips central. And then you're just going to turn to look at that extended leg, holding here. Just a couple of breaths. Bringing yourself back to center. And then hug that knee in and release to tap. And again, bringing in. So we're just starting to curl a little. Yes, you've got a little bit of work into the core and also into the shoulder, but we're trying to get that movement into our lower back, releasing out the hips. And again, last time. And then cross over. Try and keep the hips stable if you can. Just a little turn to gaze at that foot. If it feels uncomfortable, you always can keep yourself looking forward. Bring it back, and then that rounding. If you feel you want a little more, you can always keep the foot off the ground, or you can just tuck the toes. Entirely up to you how you feel. And then all we're going to do, as we extend that leg, we're going to prop ourselves up on the opposite elbow, bring the knee up and start to circle the hip a little. So again, if you think, do you know what, I can't go as far as that, it's absolutely fine. Just think little circles here, drawing around. And just go as far. Don't worry if you hear clicks and clunks, all very normal. And then once again, as we drop ourselves down, opening the knees, keeping that mobility as we roll from side to side. So this routine is quite nice if you have sat for any length of time, which a lot of us are doing, aren't we, through this awful pandemic, just to give those hips and lower back a little bit of respite. So as we come up, we're going to do exactly the same. So we're tucking the toes under, lifting, and then crossing over, but try not to twist the hips. Holding here, just gaze to look. You might find more intensity this side, you might find less. Come to center, and then we hug the knee and extend. But remember, if you want a little more, you've always got that option. If you want a little less, you've got that option. So you can pop the toe down, really curl. Imagine that that lower back is really scooping and you're pulling your belly button inwards. So get that mobility into that hip and that lower back. And then once again to extend across you, try and keep that stability through the hip as we just gently gaze back. Push down as you ground through your hands, coming back and breathing in. Exhale. So a lot of people will ask me for some hip exercises, lower back. So I hope this really helps. 2 more. And then last one. As we did previously, we're going to pop ourselves down onto the elbow. We're going to start to draw a circle with that knee. You might feel it in the opposite hip, it's fine. Just go as far as you feel that you can go. What range of movement you've got within your hip. And then nice and gently, slowly open up. Important again that we just sway. Try and imagine your hip flexor is right in the insertion there in the hip. Try and get that to move forward as much as you can. Breathe in deeply. And then hands on, we're coming into downward dog. And we're going to take a little bit again of movement. So we're raising lowering through our heels. Let the head be heavy. If you start to feel quite heady, like rush of blood to the head, just come down for a moment, come back into downward dog when you feel ready. And now all I want you to do is slow the downward dog, but start to cross over. So you've got left elbow, right knee, right elbow, left knee. So you've got a little bit again of that twist, that rotation. easing and ironing out any pockets of tension, but also creating a little bit of flexibility and also mobility there. And then with our downward dog, let's step it nice and wide outside of your mat. Don't worry if you can't get your heels on the floor. Breathe fully here, bring your feet in. Once again, that little crossover. So yes, you will feel your shoulders. You'll start to feel breathing changing here because it is quite a dynamic way to work the body. Open the feet very wide. And then as we release down, sitting back, a little bit of movement, and we're going to bring ourselves back into a low kneel and then up into high kneel, taking your right leg forward, whichever leg is closest to you. Hands on and just ease down. Now, if you know you need some cushioning, grab yourself a cushion, or if you've got carpet underneath, please make sure your knee feels fine. Use your hands to pull back, but also sink down at the same time. Your opposite arm lifts up, so palm facing away from you. Breathe deeply here, stretch up, really reach up into your fingers. And then take that hand down, and we're going to just twist into the knee and rotate. If you feel you need a little bit, you can allow the knee just to float out. And to take a little more, we're now going to tuck the toes, find your balance first, and then climb up that front leg. So your back heel pushing to the short edge of your mat behind you, hands using them to pull backwards. Breathe deeply. If you can, opposite hand once again. So we are elongating now. You're going to feel that resistance in your hip. Breathe through. Lean forward. Extend, extend, extend as much as you can. Placing the hand down, rotate. If you feel you can do a little more, you can bring your hand up or down to lessen. It's entirely up to you how you feel. But your breath will really help the muscles to relax, so try to hold on to that as much as you can. We're going to retract here into our downward dog. So remember that paddle, we're going across here, keeping that movement through the hips and the lower back. And then widen the feet outside of your mat into that dynamic extension. Bringing those feet in as we drop down, slowly releasing. As you come up to low kneel to high kneel, opposite leg goes forward. Hands on, so you're driving your rib cage back, but also sinking down into your hips, shoulders relaxing. Breathe in, so palms facing away from you. If you think, that's a little too much, you can keep your hands resting. But do remember that the hip here, that flexor going down to your mat rather than coming back towards you. Deep breath in and out. Hand comes down and you're rotating in towards your knee as far as you can. Bringing yourself back once again. We're going to tuck the toes. Find that strength balance as you lift yourself up. Of course, you've got the option to take the knee down. If you feel, Nikki, I don't want that, it's fine. But I want you to elongate. Keep pushing the heel. Keep lifting up through the chest. Opposite arm reaches up. Stretch, stretch, stretch. And breathe through. Whatever you're feeling is temporary. As soon as we finish, that feeling will go. Lean forward. Lean out from heel to fingers. Hands coming down. Rotate. Yeah, if you've got that mobility, you want to explore it, you can come up, or you can just keep your hand resting on lower back. Bringing that hand down, gently retract and straight into that releasing from side to side. And then that static opening nice and wide. Gently, as we bring the feet in, releasing. As we come back, we're going to sweep the legs forward, open them as wide as we can into some rolls to rotation. Try and do this independently, so we're getting space on that inner thighs, rolling through ankles, through the knees. So this is nice to do actually just before you go to sleep to release tension in the hip, or if you find that the hips and lower back are tight in the morning, try this again just before you come up. And then we're going to drop over to our right side to pause, holding here. Again, think about that roll and rotation through the hip. Slowly, gently lift up. Now, if you feel this is too much, you can just drop that knee. You don't have to go too far. Just take it where it's comfortable. Bringing ourselves up, and then we're coming into butterfly. So using your hands. If you find it difficult to set, remember you can lift yourself up a little higher a little flap here. And again, creating mobility, hands behind, up onto your fingers. Extend the legs, bring them back to open. Extend, bring them back to open. If you've got floor which doesn't allow you to slide, you can pick up the feet and then slide the feet away. But again, this is with range of movement, and it's also with tempo. So we're asking the hips to open, keeping that mobility as much as we can. Last time. Good. And then from here, leaning forward, if you can, a little butterfly flap. Increase the blood flow there to the lower body. And then as we settle down, we open and roll back, taking both hands onto your right knee, extend your left leg, and then just start to circle that knee as much as you feel that you want to through your hip. Hello, Jerry. Good. Hugging the knee in, and then rounding the spine, and imagine forehead to knee. Keep that opposite leg extended. If you want a little more, you can lift that extended leg. Good. As you pop it down onto the floor, drop down and just cross over here. And just allow a little bit of movement as you sway from side to side. And then just allow the legs to fall over to the opposite side, just a little, holding here, bringing yourself up, and then just hugging that knee in towards you. Breathe. Again, if you feel that the knee is crunching in towards you, just use your hand to gently guide it back. If you want a little more, you can extend a little less. And then we release in and opposite leg. So we slide it away. We give ourselves that mobility movement as we round through the hip, through the thigh, holding here gently. If you want a little more, you can extend. And then bringing that head, forehead to knee. Really extend out into that leg as much as you can. As we drop down, find the floor, crossing over. Just gently use the hand to guide the knee. Or you can bring your hands here. It's entirely up to you how you feel. The last little bit for our hip mobility. You're doing so well. Releasing here. Bring your knees nice and close together. Don't let them come apart now. So we are now rocking through our pelvis. Getting some movement. You might need to hold on. If you feel the knees open, try and close them as much as you can. Coming to center. Open up the feet. And then start to build into your bridge. Now, most of the time we lift up quite high from lower back, but I want you to try and feel a little bit more into the middle of your spine. You can stay here. You can prop a cushion, a block underneath you. We're going to drop down a little, bring the right knee in and just hold. Try and hold. Stabilize those hips. Easing down. Lift yourself up to bridge. So gently drop, find your stability as you lift up, hold in here. So we're really strengthening through the back. Yes, you're going to feel some work into the hamstrings as well. Now let's continue to walk. So you're going to bring the knee in. Now I'm trying really hard here to stop my hips from wandering. So don't have to bring the knee in too far. Keep breathing. If you need to, you can also just hold onto your mat for 4 and 3, last 2. One more. Hold in there through your bridge. Try and squeeze up through the bottom. Squeeze in the inner thighs together. As you unravel down, hug your knees in. Give yourself a little bit of a release. And then we open the knees out, releasing the arms up above and allow gravity to draw the knees down. So really opening through insertion now through inner thighs. And then rolling ourselves over to one side gently as we pick up. Find a seated place that feels comfortable for you. And we're just going to circle around the hips a few times. So this should feel actually really nice as we've opened, mobilized, flexed and arched and brought a little bit of strength into our body. And then releasing opposite way. And releasing here. Well done. Thank you for joining me today. I really hope those exercises help. Come back to this at any time. Please do share this video. Give it a big thumbs up and come on over and subscribe. Have a great day. I'll see you again really soon. Bye.